Yep. All right. November 1st, 1988, Tuesday night. Well, I am now in my late 20s. Today's my birthday, or should I say, birth night. And, well, I wish I could say that I was happy, but, well, who knows if I am. I think I got an A on my test in my exceptional children class, which makes my family happy, which made my family happy. Anyway, probably the reason why I'm not um, that happy is, well, even though I'm leading a boring existence, the rapture still hasn't taken place. My dad thought that it would for sure this day, or last night, being that it was Halloween. The reason, the reason, because it would go with that in an hour when you think not scripture. Yeah, when you think not. And who would ever think the rapture take place on Halloween? Uh, and no one is expecting the rapture to take place on Satan's day. There are some other reasons also, but there were some other reasons why also we thought it would take place, but no. Also, Dad thought it might occur because um, Tuesday's child is full of grace, and it's All Saints Day, which would have uh, really been their day if the rapture took place. Another reason for it was that it's getting so close for Russia being 71 years old. And once it does, that will destroy our belief that Russia is Babylon. Because after holding the Jews hostage in Babylon 70 years, that sort of thing, God is supposed to visit it and let the Jews go. And here it's almost 71 years old. Anyway, it's really been depressing watching all our hopeful reasons for the rapture taking place suddenly start crumbling and fading. It's like watching exit doors out of hell to start closing on me and my family. It's as if all our theories were just Satan's little joke on us, or should I say, big joke, since it seemed like everything was fitting Bible prophecy so well. Anyway, I have been studying myself and observing my ways, and I have come to a conclusion about myself. I have done a lot of changing within the past 2 years. I really believe I'm not so gullible as I used to be. I really, really believe that. I don't think I'm as gullible as I used to be. Not as gullible as I used to be, I believe. I really believe I'm not as gullible as I used to be. I never get excited about the violence of Israel anymore or what Russia may be doing, etc. I think Israel will always have trouble. I mean, they have been since God told them to slay the Philistines. It's just natural for them, for there to be problems over there. Realizing this just makes me realize again how boring and useless watching the news is, not to mention a waste of time. Believe it or not, I do believe in God, though. I do believe there is a God. I definitely believe there is a creator, and I believe I'm beginning to realize uh, what this world and all its problems is really for. It's for God, as what the Newton is for me. And I'm thinking of writing another Newton story. Not book, but story. I'm also thinking of writing a Rocky story. I think I'll call it Rocky 6. If it turns out really well, this Rocky 6 thing, maybe I'll be able to sell it to Sylvester Stallone. Anyway, in my story, Rocky is thinking of retiring because, well, he's getting old. But as he's telling a crowd of people that he's thinking of hanging up his gloves, an ex-Vietnam vet who has been paralyzed from the waist down and is confined to a wheelchair shouts to Rocky, telling him that he wants to fight him because he thinks he can beat Rocky. Rocky doesn't want to fight him because, well, the guy is handicapped. Anyway, the guy makes fun of Rocky's manhood to Rocky's wife. Rocky still doesn't get angry because the guy is crippled. The man then threatens to sue Rocky, claiming that Rocky is discriminating against him. So Rocky and the guy end up in court. Rocky goes crazy with anger when the man pulls off the lawsuit and gets Rocky and yeah, and yet Rocky and sues Rocky, gets Rocky for all his money on the grounds that Rocky was discriminating against him. So Rocky ends up taking him on in the ring. In the fight, Rocky ends up awkwardly dancing around the man, not knowing if he wants to hit a guy in a wheelchair. Rocky ends up going easy on the guy because he feels foolish about punching a man in a wheelchair. But the man isn't the invalid he appears to be. His arms are incredibly powerful from wheeling himself up and down the hills of San Francisco. And when Rocky tries to get in a punch, the guy begins dazing Rocky. Rocky then notices that not only does the guy have a powerful arm defense, but he's using his wheelchair as a weapon by ramming into Rocky's legs, his shins and stuff. Rocky gets tired out from trying to avoid the wheelchair, so tired in fact, that he starts getting clobbered by the guy. The guy ends up ramming into Rocky's legs, sending Rocky tumbling head forward toward the man's legs. There's a loud bashing sound from a powerful left uppercut, knocking Rocky out of the ring, and the man wins. The rest of the movie deals with Rocky being down in the pits. He wants another rematch, but Adrian tells him that he can't win because if he did, people would never forgive him for beating up a guy in a wheelchair. Then Rocky gets a big flash of inspiration. He'll fight the guy on his level. So Rocky gets a rematch to fight the guy in the wheelchair. After Rocky works out, music plays showing Rocky constantly confined to a wheelchair. He shows him wheeling it up mountains, etc. He meets the guy in the ring for a rematch. Only this time, Rocky is confined to a wheelchair also. In the fight, Rocky has a tough time taking the man on his level, of course, and almost gets knocked out in the beginning. Some punches actually have Rocky spinning dazed in his wheelchair, going around, you're like, ugh. But as the fight progresses, that old Rocky stick-to-itiveness prevails, and although bloody and puffy-faced, Rocky begins sending his opponent for a spin with haymakers of his own, and the last hard punch Rocky delivers sends Rocky sliding backwards into the ropes, going backwards into the ropes, but has the paralyzed opponent knocked out. And Rocky wins victoriously. Of course, there is a big speech by Rocky about how everyone is free and equal, and the paralyzed man agrees also. And that's it. Anyway, I don't know if it would be acceptable by Sylvester Stallone. He'd probably think I was making fun of him. I think I'll write it when I get bored and have nothing to do, which is all the time. Of course, I have to study, which is hell. Today I went to Thrifty's to get back the pictures I took of my body 2 years ago, and I'm seriously thinking of tearing a lot of them up. They are horrible. I was grateful. I was grotesquely skinny in them, and white. And I thought, are these actually the pictures of someone normal? The word fag kept hitting me in the eyes each time, with each of the pictures that I saw, and I cringed with embarrassment to realize that I had bothered to take such faggy pictures of myself. I tell you, I didn't mean for them to turn out that way, but they did. God forgive me for taking such gross pictures. At the time, I felt I was recording history of myself. What's really a horrible thought is, after I looked at the pictures, I looked at the negatives and discovered a negative that wasn't from the role that I had just developed, but was from a negative that I developed a long time ago, like, say, half a year ago, making me realize that my pictures have been going to the same developing company, and that this company has been keeping tabs on me. Some negatives I looked at, I noticed that they didn't develop them, or actually maybe they are keeping them, and after maybe they are keeping them after developing them. So if I ever send them a roll with my real name and number, they can nab me. Man, I can just see it. The whole developing company was probably looking at my pictures, laughing, saying, "Who is this fag? What's his real name and number?" I'm sure they have tried all the fake numbers, and I'm pretty sure they have tried all the fake numbers to make kissing sounds or something. Oh well, they'll find me out someday, and it will be shouted from the rooftops. I'll be totally humiliated and destroyed just because I wanted records of the way I was at certain weights. Funny thing about this whole thing is that there really isn't anything sexual in them. There's only funny thing about all this whole thing is that there really isn't anything sexual in this. I mean, I really don't get turned on by looking at myself in pictures, naked in pictures. Sometimes I just some it's just something that I can look back on when I'm old and say, yes, it wasn't a dream, I was young, and this is what I physically looked at 145 pounds, and this is what I physically looked at 175 pounds, and possibly 200 pounds someday, maybe. And I want to look good for myself, so I keep on trying to improve it. If I ever find a girl and marry her, the attention I give myself will go to her will go to her though, and it will be sexual because again, I'm not queer, which I'm sure no one will believe if they see those stupid pictures I developed of myself. Which I'm pretty sure no one will believe if they see those stupid pictures I developed today that make me look like an AIDS patient. I look like an AIDS patient in those pictures. Continue on with this thing. Let's see here. Anyway, I look like an AIDS patient, a white, faggy AIDS patient, a ghostly, white, ugly one at that. I sure hope I haven't caused anyone to stumble toward bagginess at that developing place. I doubt it. God forgive me if I have. Well, I don't think those pictures could cause anyone to stumble. I wonder if Satan is really just working on me lately to destroy and humiliate me. I think that's what he's been doing. If I ever get famous now, those pictures will pop up from the people taking tabs on me, and I'll be right in Swaggart's shoes. Or Jim Bakker's, probably my Jim Bakker's. I can just see the headlines. Bruce Ramsey, lover of himself. And it will be shouted from the rooftops. God forgive me, over and out, Mr. Humiliated. November 2nd, 1988, Wednesday early morning. Well, today is All Souls Day. My dad thinks this is the last possible day for the rapture. Anyway, I have been thinking about it, and I think I have come to another conclusion concerning the rapture. I'm starting to think that it's highly possible that what me and my family have been doing, looking for the rapture, has been possibly demonic. The reason for this is that, well, I am beginning to believe that getting hopes up for the rapture can make one a lover of death. When your attention is on this event, it makes life boring to you, turns life into hell. I am beginning to think that Satan has really been pulling off a number on me and my family with this rapture thing. Me especially, because life has become so boring for me. It also made me think God was a practical joker, torturing me with false hopes, and took away my joy also. I believe I was a lot more happy 10 years ago. No, I don't believe I was. I know I was a lot more happy 10 years ago. When Satan leads you off on looking for signs of the rapture, it does, one, turns your attention off of life. Two, weakens your faith in a loving God several years down the road by making you think God is a joker. Three, makes reality excruciatingly boring for you because it gets you thinking there's something a lot better around the corner, and there isn't. Four, makes you appear like an insane, warmongering idiot to your friends and relatives as you try to warn them about the coming rapture. Five, makes you a lover of bad news, since Bible prophecy is rarely uplifting and positive. And six, makes you waste years of your life looking for bad news to support your stupid, insane theories. And seven, it makes your atheist friends think Christians are stupid and crazy about bad news also. So, in effect, it hurts Christianity. I could probably go on, but I feel I have said this before. Just read my journals, watch my videotapes, and you will see the problems with looking for the rapture. November 4th, 1988, Friday afternoon. I'm in Susanville. I'm in Susanville now. I'm here so I can get more spring water on my way back down to Sacramento. Anyway, I'm trying to think of anything interesting to say, but I can't. I did see something funny on the news about about the fight breaking out on the Rivera show. I think Geraldo is a big kid at heart who has a machismo reputation that he's trying to protect. He got in a fight and so the racist he was fighting broke his nose with the chair, but I taped it, ran it through slow motion, and saw that the chair missed his nose. Anyway, it looked fun. I sure hope Rivera is in God's shoes, on God's side, though. I hope he's in God's side, because after making that thing on Satanism, and uncovering Satan's underground, his health could be threatened. I'm going to have to blow my nose. I'll be back. can't blow my nose. It's too jammed up there. I mean, it's too dry. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah, Geraldo Rivera's health could be threatened if demons truly exist, that is. Satan makes people do violent, stupid things, and people think that that is all there is. But if demons truly exist, which Geraldo didn't really touch on, I'd hate to be in his shoes, especially if he's not a Christian. Anyway, I tried to do research at Sac State University on computers, and man, talk about dull. I sure wish I could see myself in the future enjoying teaching retards and dyslexics. Believe it or not, I'm actually contemplating getting back into speech pathology. Even though there isn't much demand for it. Oh, I have some good news to report. God seems to have finally answered my family's prayers on Uncle Gerald. Gerald is no longer taking oral medication, but is taking shots for his mental problems. And the shots have made him 100% normal, according to Grandpa. So, after 20 years, Uncle Gerald is normal. He can think straight without being entertaining. What else? Oh, on the way up, I stopped off in Chico to give Peggy Clary a call, Eddie Clary's mother. I called her to see how she was doing. Peggy is the mother of my childhood friend named Eddie Clary, which I told you about, gay guy, who ended up living in Castro Street a couple of years ago, claiming to be gay. Anyway, Peggy told me that Eddie didn't like Delaware. Didn't really give me an answer, a reason why. And moved back to California and is now living with her and working two jobs at the same time. Believe it or not, I couldn't tell if Peggy was thrilled that I called her or not. It was as if she was trying to get me off the line, as if she was trying to hide something from me. I didn't want to talk to her. And she didn't want to talk to me. Just a sec. How about 5 more minutes, Grandma? I wanted to talk to her, but she didn't want to talk to me for some reason. She did tell me that she was recovering from a massive heart attack that she said she had last March. Anyway, as I talked with her, I started getting depressed. I got depressed because it seems as though Peggy lives under a black cloud, and I personally can't see any evidence of God in her life at all. It's as if God has forgotten that Peggy Clary ever existed. My grandma and my parents are the only ones who make me think that there could be a God who cares about people. But when I look at the lives of the rest of the world, man, it seems so bleak and dark and absurd. All that seems to be to life is working, getting old and feeble, and dying.